Hello everyone, welcome to Starung. I'm Apurva Pathak and today we'll be taking up the first chapter of our 10th class economics, that is development. So in this chapter we'll be covering the definitions and the characteristics of development, and then we'll see how the different countries are compared amongst themselves. So, why are we studying this chapter development? Uh, like we have a lot of misconceptions about development, what it is, and we often mistake it with the term growth. So, we'll be differentiating between growth and development, and you'll be clear about the main idea of development, how it differs from person to person, and what exactly it is. So, before moving on to the first chapter of economics, let us understand what is economics. So, economics is basically a system which deals with the money matters and financial management for welfare of humans, and by making choices under limited resources. I have a question for you all that you can ponder upon later on, that is, who is the father of economics? Moving on, we start with a chapter that is development. Now, the idea of development or progress has always been with us. We have aspirations or desires about what we would like to do and how we would like to live. Similarly, we have ideas about what a country should be like. What are the essential things that we require? Can life be better for all? How should people live together? Can there be more equality? Development involves thinking about these questions and how the ways in which we can work towards achieving these goals. So, this is a complex task, and in this chapter, we shall make a beginning at understanding development. You will learn more about these issues in greater depth in higher classes. Also, you will find answers to many of these questions in this chapter. So, there are few things in this paragraph given, that what kind of processions, mental processions, are required for the idea of development. Now we move on to our first part, that is what development promises and different people and different goals. Let us try to imagine what development or progress is likely to mean to different persons in this table, and what are their aspirations. So there are a few of the categories of person given, and their development goals are given in this table that you can fill, and we'll be doing few of them right now. That is uh, the development goal of a landless rural laborer. So he wants more days of work and better wages. And local school is available to provide a quality education for their children. There is no social discrimination, and they too can become leaders in the village. So these are the aspirations that a landless rural laborer wants. So this is what is development for him. Now, what is development for a prosperous farmer from Punjab? So he wants a assured high family income through higher support prices for their crops and through hardworking and cheap laborers, and they should be able to settle their children abroad. Now, the next row is of farmers who depend only on rain for growing crops. So, according to you, what they won't be wanting? So, they might want a proper irrigation system provided by the government, and better prices, better market outlet for their crops to sell, and then urban unemployed youth. What can he want? Like, what is the development criteria for him? So he as he's unemployed, he might be wanting the better employment opportunities available, and then wages at, like, minimum wages should be raised, and quality, like, there are few working hours. So this is what we talked in this table. Okay, one more row is there of an Adivasi from Narmada Valley. So this Narmada Valley project, like Sardar Sarovar Dam project, is on Narmada Valley. So there was a lot of protest about it, because a whole bunch of tribal people were displaced from their livelihood. So what an Adivasi from Narmada Valley be wanting? Like, what is the development for him? He might be wanting that there is like these forest areas should not be cut, no construction of dams, these multi-purpose dams, because it is eradicating their livelihood. So, what summarizing this table, we see that different sets of people have different aspirations and development goals, and this brings to us the first characteristics of development, that is different people have different goals. So, uh, before reaching on to the second characteristics, now we look at what is development exactly, the proper definitions of it. It is like development is a continuous process of a country which talks about its economy and few other qualitative things like poverty, quality education, etc. And now we look at, as we had said, what is the difference between growth and development. So, growth is basically a quantitative term like national income, and whereas development is the qualitative term as well as quantitative term. So, it's a wider term which covers the 360 view of the nation, whereas the growth is the narrower term, and growth is used for the developed countries that are already developed like USA, and it involves a lot of numericals and the statistics of monetary gains of the nation, whereas the development is used for developing countries like South Asian countries, which are like India, and Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and all, and China. So it's and this growth is used for a limited span, whereas development is a continuous process. Since earlier days, humans have been striving for development, and the definitions of development have been varying over the time. Moving on to the next part of the chapter, which are like, yeah, so a girl expects as much freedom and opportunity as her brother, and that he also shares in the household work. Her brother may not like this. Similarly, to get more electricity, industrialists may want more dams, but this may submerge the land and disrupt the lives of people who are displaced, such as tribals. They might resent this and may prefer small check dams or tanks to irrigate their lands. So, what do we conclude from this paragraph? Like a girl uh, wants as much freedom as her brother, as much opportunities as her brother. So, this is the development for the girl, whereas her brother does not like this. So, it is conflicting between both of them. So the development criterias of different people might also be conflicting. So two things are quite clear with us, that different persons can have different development goals, and second, that what may be development for one may not be the development for other. It may even be destructive for the other person. So there are few examples that you can look upon how the development criteria of one person can be destructive for the other. Then we move on income and other goals. Okay, so besides seeking more income, one way or the other, people also seek things like equal treatment, freedom, security, and respect of others. They resent discrimination. All these are important goals. In fact, in some cases, there may be more important than more income or more consumption, because material goods are not all that you need to live. So, when you are seeking for the job, you look at the location of the like your office and the job security, your income. Are you giving proper time to your family and working hours? All these things you have to look upon. So there is income is not the only criteria that you have to look. So money or material things that one can buy with it is one factor on which our life depends, but the quality of our life also depends on non-material things mentioned above. So what are non-material things? Non-material things are more like the things like freedom, equal treatment, security, respect of others, which could not be uh, bought with money. So these are the material things. So from this paragraph, we come to the conclusion that while looking at the development, people also look at the mix of goals. They look at the income and other criterias like freedom, security, etc. So development also involves thinking about non-material things and other factors like health, poverty, which growth ignores. And here is a very good example of a job that I have already explained. And here are a few questions that we can do. Let's work these out. So, first question is, why do different persons have different notions of development? So, why do you think that different people have different goals? This might be because of their social or economic background, and secondly, their different interest criterias and their different mindsets make them to have different notions of development, and their situations are also different, so they tend to have different development goals. Give some examples where factors other than income are important aspects of our lives. So you can mention this example of a job in this. Okay, so thank you everyone. Now we'll be doing this next part, that is national development, in our next lesson. For now, thank you everyone, and stay tuned for the new session. Thank you.